There are many features to the Football History's Play Designer functionality. To access it, just click on the Play Designer button. You'll be presented with the plays that are in the repository of football history. There are 37 offensive plays and 25 defensive plays. To create a new play, basically you'll hit the Create Play function, and then you'll name your play. Let's call this Play 2. And let's say we want to make this an offensive play. We can actually make it a defensive play if we select the defensive button, but we're going to make it an offensive play in this instance. So we'll call this Play 2. We'll hit Create, and then you'll be presented with all the formations that are in your repository, the ones you've created and the 37 formations that we've actually created with the football simulator that we include. So we're going to take this formation here, on center's number base formation for this offense. We'll hit select. And then you'll be presented with the actual formation that's on the center's number. As you can see, this is a staggered type formation. And now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and add routes to the players within this formation. So we scroll our mouse wheel in. We will click on the first player that we want to add, which is the offensive tackle. And we'll hit either right click and hit add route, or we can click on that player and hit add route, the button here, which will bring up the route settings. You have in the route settings the line in, the line color, the line weight, the line type, the player color, the position, and the jersey number. For offense only at this moment, you can add an offensive jersey number. We'll say 55 will be the jersey number for this particular player. We'll hit create, and then we will draw a route for that player. Simple blocking route. These yellow boxes that are on top of these players are to designate the skilled players that can do handoffs, multiple ball transitions, and so on. What we recommend is that when you're making routes for your offensive line and you have these boxes overlaid over the offensive lineman, with this one being the quarterback, just simply click on these players, hit edit formation, and move them out of the way for the time being, even the quarterback. This way, we can now we can see and not have any distractions on top of the overlay, with the overlays on top of these players, and we can now actually execute our routes. So we'll click on the player that we want, make sure the edit formation button is enabled, and then we will either add a route or we can delete a route. In this case, there's no route, so we're going to add a route, bring up our window, keep our player yellow. We're going to make this player, let's call him number 78. And this is good when you're doing personnel groups as well. And now we will go ahead and draw a line. Let's say we want this player to go straight. And we'll do the same thing with our center. Add route. We'll name our center. Let's say our center is number 65. And then we'll add a route for that center to block straight. We'll do the same thing with our guard. Number 65. And then we will add a route for them. And the same thing we'll do with our offensive tackle as well. And we'll add a route for that player as well. Now that we have our route set, forgot to add a number for that offensive tackle. We'll make that number 78. Now that we have the offensive line set and we have their routes, now we can begin adding our other players in. And the way we do this is simply we want the quarterback to be in the shotgun. We hit the edit formation button here, and now we're able to move all our players where we desire. We'll go ahead and we'll move the quarterback under center. and then we will right click on the quarterback, hit add route, and we'll just give the quarterback a number 12. And again, when you use the line end, it doesn't matter which one you use. They all work, these two work the same. But we just use this for a visual. This usually means blocking, and this usually means some type of pass route or route. So we'll use the pointed arrow. And we'll want our quarterback to just drop back a little bit and curl here to the right. And now we have our receivers set. We can click our edit formation button, and I'll just start putting the receivers where we might want them to be. And our running back and our fullback. Now I'll go ahead and give these routes to these players as well. This is going to be a pass play, so we're going to add passing routes, and I usually like to make these different colors to the one that the ball is going to go to, the designated receiver. And then the rest of them will just go ahead and make those routes the same. And once we get our routes together and done, we'll go ahead and do our ball transition. And the way you do ball transitions in football history is you hit the change of possession, because the center has to transition the ball to the quarterback. And then from there, the quarterback will make a decision on whether he wants to hand off or pass the ball. The reason why these boxes are around these skilled players is that 2 yards is the distance that we have programmed in here to execute a handoff. And then anything outside of 2 yards would be a pitch out or a pass. So let's say we want to do a pass here to the fullback in the backfield. We're going to hit the change possession button. We're going to drag a line from the center to the quarterback, and you'll get this pop-up window. Because he is under center, you want to hit the under center snap, because that's the animation that will be playing for an under center snap. And now what we want to do is we want to roll this button here at the end that's in the red area. Roll it up until you see the ball transition to the quarterback. You'll see that once it gets into the blue. And now the quarterback will run. And at this point, now you can go ahead and, as the quarterback gets to the end of his route or in the middle, you can draw a line to where you want the pass to go. Now, once you draw this line, you'll get this complete possession screen, and you can either throw a lob pass, which is a more softer, loftier pass, or you can do a pass, or you can do a pitch out, or a drop back, which is more so that the quarterback will drop back from that position that he left on his route, and then he will throw the ball. So in this case, we're just going to do a lob pass. And once that is completed, you can play this back in 2D and see how the play will play out. So let's do that. There's a quarterback, and then now he throws the ball to the fullback. And that's how you create a play in football history. Now, we'll get into handoffs and multiple ball transitions in our next video. But if we want to see this play out in 3D, we just basically hit the 3D button here. And now you'll see this without any players on the field, but we can do this with players on the field. So let's do this. Let's go back to the 2D view. And if you hit the import opposite button, we can import a defense against that offense. So let's put a 3-4 safety blitz against that. And then we'll click on that. And as you can see, there's the players on the defense that are in there. Now, if we want to save this to go against this defense all the time, all we do is hit save, and our play will be saved. And now we can go and as you can see, it's saved. And now we can go and run the play. So we hit 3D. And there is the play. And then we hit the silver button up here, which is our play button, to run this. We can run this at full speed, which is 1x, or we can run it at half speed, which is in slow motion. We're going to run this at full speed. You'll hear the quarterback's cadence. You can roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. You have cameras that you can view it from. And as you can see, you can move the camera any way that you want. And players will try to score in Football History Football Simulator just like they would in real life. So this is not just showing the play itself, but if you want to stop it where you just show the routes being run, that will be sufficient as well. But you can let this play out and see how the player would score if the play was designed properly for you. Within this, you can also view these cameras. We'll show you by different angles. You can roll the mouse. Actually, you can move the mouse into any position pretty much you want, or you can use our fixed cameras. We have 5 on the defense and 5 on the offense. So if you want things from a defensive perspective, you can view them within these 5 views here. You can roll the mouse wheel in to zoom in to get a better look, or you can have a top-down look of how this would look, from a top-down perspective. And you can zoom it out to see how this looks from a top-down perspective. You can also view these from the offensive point of view, top-down, and sides, and traditional. And as you can see, the numbered players are in here that we numbered. Or you can move the camera any way you want. To run this in half speed, basically you just hit the half speed button. And by the way, this button here is for the mute. It's the mute button, and it mutes out the sound, but you will hear the cadence. As you can see there is the slow motion view, and you can switch it back. And that is part 1 of the Play Designer.